Good evening, my fellow Americans. I am your right leaning friend, Mark.
And I'm your left leaning friend, James.
Yeah, I guess I got to always try to remember to switch the screens when we do this. And this
I
is
don't.
Civil Civics Connection.
I still don't have that thing for that.
That's okay.
Where we discuss civics civilly
And we
and
connect
connect.
over these things, yes. Where we connect over civics in a civil manner. So, today, as you are aware, but many may not be, helps if I have the right image up.
Yeah.
Sneaky peek of what's to come. Um, Today was the State of the State speech here in the great state of Nevada. Did you happen to have a chance to check this out?
No, I just saw the key, like some of the key points of the speech. I didn't see the speech.
Fair enough. Well, we're going to talk about it. It is important. We are both Nevada citizens. You live in Southern Nevada in Las Vegas, and I'm here in Northern Nevada in Reno.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the things that were discussed are going to hit near and dear to us. We understand that some of you out there may not find Nevada politics interesting, and that's okay. But if you want to hear some thoughtful insight on different topics from a left leaning perspective and a right leaning perspective, in a civil tone, then you're in the right place.
Yeah, we ain't gonna yell at each other about this stuff.
Well, I don't know about that, but first off, I do want to call out there was an incident that took place in the chambers prior to the speech starting. Assembly member Tracy Brown May. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but she was being tended to by paramedics. And it does look like she was probably taken out of the facility. So thoughts and prayers are with her. Hope that she is okay and that she will be in chambers come February for the start of session. But with that said, let's talk about the speech. So I don't want to rehash line by line. I kind of just want to talk about from a wow, sorry, my stuff's all over the place. I want to talk about from a high level some of the key themes that Governor Lombardo talked about. And kind of get your thoughts, James, and then we will also discuss the Democratic response that was presented by Speaker Yeager shortly thereafter the speech finished. So Lombardo's speech was live. He was there in person, delivering to a packed house, if you will. And what I will say as kind of a preamble is that I was impressed that there was a lot of cheering, clapping from both sides of the house, if you will. So there were obviously times where there were some disagreements and people weren't. But I think as a generalization, it definitely seemed a lot more civil than some of the State of the Unions we've seen in recent memory.
Yes.
So first key theme I'm going to talk about is economic growth and fiscal responsibility. So the governor emphasized Nevada's economic recovery, highlighting job creation, the state's fiscal prudence. He quote, Nevada's unemployment rate stands at 5.7%, a number that reminds us that there's still much work to be done. He also touted a record reserve of $1.3 billion that he's planning for in the rainy day fund. Noting the state's resilience, we made smart fiscal decisions and instituted prudent policies to protect ourselves. So let's unpack that a little bit. So 5.7% unemployment is not terrible. It's not good. It is down significantly from the peaks of COVID.
Yeah.
But you and I are both employed, so I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
I don't really know anyone that doesn't have a job that actually is trying.
Yeah, me neither.
So I question how much of that 5.7% is genuine unemployment versus people not wanting to work and just wanting to collect some cash.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Yeah, like none of the people that I know. I mean, most people I know are at work. So, but then like there's like friends are working, brother working. So everybody like at least in my immediate is working. So
Yeah, I mean, the only people that I know directly myself that are not working are those that are retired,
mhm.
or those that don't want to work and are not collecting unemployment.
Right.
Um, so I just I have a really hard time accepting the stat being as high as it is, and question how much of that is genuine unemployment. Talking about the rainy day fund, if we go back just a few years, just before COVID, the rainy day fund had about 300 million in it, and unfortunately, COVID ran that dry.
Yeah.
So the fact that the governor is intending with the budget that he's presented and is going to be debated over the next few months, he's proposing to have 1.3 billion in the coffers. That's pretty impressive if it's able to happen. I
Yeah.
don't think it will. I think the ledge is going to eat into that and find some ways to spend money on other things. What are your thoughts?
No, I mean that's pretty ambitious. Um, especially raising that without, plus without raising taxes, you know, that'll be that'll be quite impressive. Um, for I mean, we it's not like we're a small state and like, things like that, but at the same time, we don't have we it's we don't have that California money, but at the same time,
They also have 10 times the population.
yeah, they also have a lot more population. So I mean, I think, but I mean, that's an impressive amount, and even getting, I definitely, uh, I'm not sure if we'll get to that number, that's pretty ambitious number, like you said. But I think if we get anywhere near that, that's impressive in itself.
Agreed. The next kind of big overall topic, education investments and accountability.
Ugh.
Lombardo celebrated the largest investment in K through 12 education in Nevada's history and introduced the Nevada Accountability in Education Act to enforce stricter accountability and improve outcomes. Key quote from here: "We've invested the money, a lot of it. But, folks, we can no longer accept lack of funding as an excuse for chronic underperformance." He also advocated for school choice, stating, "No child should be trapped in a failing school because of their zip code." So
Oh,
one of the things here is 2 years ago, when the last session happened, there was a ridiculous amount of money invested in the state for education, and here we are 2 years later with still some of the worst performing schools and scores in the country.
oh.
Um,
We're not last, but we're nowhere near the top. We're
no,
nowhere near even. We're not even in the middle.
no, we're still in the bottom
Bottom, like
10, 5.
bottom five.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
we're in a bad place, frankly. And so you can throw as much money as you want at a problem, but that doesn't necessarily fix it.
Yeah. No, it's the you know teachers have to buy in. I mean, it's a teacher buy-in thing. It's a student buy-in thing. It's a like people don't. Some of these people don't want to get into the profession. I mean, some people get into the profession because they love teaching. That's what their passion is, and that's why they do it. Um, but there's people that might have that passion but don't want to get into it because they're like, yo, like it's not really worth it due to the fact that, I mean, like still teachers are paying, they're paying a lot out of pocket for their own supplies, um, just stuff for the classroom itself. Um, like I remember like back in the day, at the beginning of school, we got there was a sheet of paper, last name, and this is what you brought in like for the class. You had your school supply list, which is now online at most places. Like you can get a thing online for your school, but it had like you got a list of stuff that you needed for yourself. Like from crayons, colored pencils, pens, paper, all that stuff. You had all that stuff, binders, and then there was this like normally it was like one thing for the class based on your last name. Like I remember I think I had Kleenex and stuff. And so but little things like that, it's like they're paying for that stuff out of pocket instead of
So let me ask
people.
you some questions. So before I do that, though, I do want to make sure we let our audience know we are live and interactive. It is January 15th, 2025, 8:13 p.m. Pacific. So if you've got thoughts, if you watch the speech, or if you have thoughts in general of what we're talking about, please feel free to chime in. We do love to engage and interact. To your point, let me ask you a question. So, have you ever had a job where you were required to provide your own pens, pencils, things of that nature?
Yeah, I mean, well, I mean, I brought in we all. I mean, yes, because when you work in a restaurant,
Mhm.
like they have pens and stuff there that you can use, but a lot of times they were just kind of like bottom rung pens and stuff. They run out of ink real quick. So like a lot of us
But
bought
they
our
were
own.
available for you to use. You weren't
Yeah,
required to bring
yeah,
in
we
your.
weren't required to have we would, of course, a lot of us brought our own stuff in just because it was easier that way, and then we weren't spending, like, we could buy. I remember like at one point in time, like I went to Staples or whatever, and I bought a couple of the little notepads that I used to take orders on, and I bought like a pack of pens, and I spent like $10. So I'm making that back on like a first table, so that's not even that big
So,
of a
so
deal.
you're making it back, right? To that
Yeah, so
point,
like
right?
so
Okay.
exactly at that point, I
So
put that
my
out to get it
problem
back.
with what you're saying though about the school system is I pay as a taxpayer, you pay as a taxpayer for kids to attend school. Even you don't have any kids, but you're
No.
still paying for kids to attend school. You're a property owner, so you're paying through that as well, right?
Yeah.
Um, and why are we having to pay for kids to go to school and then we also have to furnish them and pay additional for them to have the supplies they need to get the education that we're paying for them to get?
You mean like buying them paper and stuff?
Anything, frankly. Why are those tools and supplies not provided for the students?
Oh, I've never even thought about that. Like I've always just like, oh, I mean, that's stuff that, and I mean, I can't tell you how many things of paper we bought and ended up using, I used it to draw and all this other kind of stuff. So I used a lot of it at home too. So it wasn't like I was just for school supplies and stuff like that. But I mean, like, yeah, I mean, I have no problem with providing, like, getting my if for example, if I had a kid or whatever, buying, notebooks and paper and pens and all that kind of stuff for them to use in school. I have no problem with buying that stuff.
What
Um,
about buying stuff for the classroom? Because it's not just
oh
one
no, and
buy
that's what I'm
bringing a
saying. Like
box of
I think,
Kleenex or
like yeah, no, I mean I think like definitely I would, want to, whatever if there was that list still, like bring something for the classroom to yeah, that would, I don't have to buy it like yearly or not yearly, but I don't have to buy it like, every few months. I just buy it like at the beginning of the year and that's, good, but yeah, no, I never really I guess my parents never really saw a problem with getting whatever it was on that list.
fair enough. Getting back to his proposed Nevada Accountability and Education Act, he didn't get into too much detail around it, but what I definitely got the impression of, and I look forward to reading the act myself, um, I got the impression that the intention is underperforming schools, underperforming teachers are going to be held accountable. We're not going to take your money away. We're not going to say, no, we're not going to fund you, but you're going to get held accountable, whether that's through your school board, whether that's through your administration, whatever the case may be. Someone's going to get held accountable if you continue to underperform. And that's what needs to happen. I think the whole concept of tenure needs to be stripped away, especially from public servants. I mean,
I
it's
don't,
one thing if you're at a private school, you're at a private institution, whatever, that's private. But in the public sector, there should be no such thing as a guaranteed job just because you've been there for so long.
yeah,
You
yeah,
go
I don't
ahead.
have a problem with tenure per se. I don't have a problem with that. But if but at the same time, they need they need to absolutely be held accountable. Like if they've been there, if they've been there for like, however long it takes to get it, like what, let's say like 10 years or whatever. And like, those first 5 years, they're kicking butt, they're doing really well. And then, as they get on and let's say actually just let's say it's 5 years. In those 5 years, they are kicking butt and they're doing great. And then all of a sudden, in year six, they start slipping. It's like, yo, hold up, man! Like you were doing this and this. You need to stay at that level, or like stay. You got to stick around that level. You can't be falling
But
way
that's
way
kind of the point
underneath.
of tenure is once you have it,
You're locked in.
yeah.
Yeah.
See,
I
and that's
mean,
my problem. So, and I'm going to give you a practical, real life scenario for myself. I work for the state of Nevada, and
mhm.
as a state of Nevada employee, you do not lock permanent, what they call permanent status, unless you have been employed for 1 year, and that's 1 year in one position. I did a lot of bouncing around early in my career because I came in at a very low position. I did not achieve permanent status until almost 3 years into my career with the state of Nevada because I kept promoting and moving around. Uh,
Oh,
but you could, if you
interesting.
took your first job with the state of Nevada and you stayed in that position for a year, you are locked in as a permanent employee, and it makes it extremely hard to remove that person. Uh, and so what happens, and
There's
I've
unless
seen
they have
this
to. There's paper trails. Do you have to have like a in-depth paper trail?
significant,
Yeah.
or a significant, egregious something has to happen.
Right.
And really, what happens is managers around the state, from my observation, don't want to deal with the paperwork. And so bad employees continue to stay employed,
Mm.
don't get held accountable, don't get documented, still continue to get raises. Then, once they've worked in a position for a year, they qualify for the next level. And then people who are
But they're
doing
not qualified. But they're not qualified for that due to the fact that their job performance has been
but but
underwhelming.
but the managers who are managing them aren't holding them accountable, aren't giving them negative performance reviews.
Right.
So now they apply for the next position up.
They
They
don't
have
see any.
interviews.
They don't see any documented
Mhm.
of
Those
of
the
bad behavior
Even
or
worse though, those people that are doing the interview don't follow up and at least have a conversation with the employee's current managers and say, "Hey, how is this person?" And you know what is even worse?
oh
Sometimes the managers of bad employees, because they want to get rid of them, don't say, "Hey, you don't want this person."
oh man, that's oh. I mean, yeah, I guess if you don't want to deal
I
with them, but
can't
at the
tell
same
you
time, that's
how
not
much
good.
failing upward I have seen
That
in
is
my time.
that is crazy.
And it's at all levels. It's not like it's just at low level positions, frankly.
Yeah, no.
And we got Marcos 002 checking in. Hi, good
Hi.
evening. Hi, good evening. It's frankly frustrating. It's ridiculous, and this is the same thing that we see in our public school systems. Hello,
Mhm.
where we see failing teachers
Mhm.
not being held accountable, not
Right.
being managed,
Right.
not losing their jobs. And Marcos is from Argentina. Well,
Oh,
welcome.
yeah. Hey, what's going on?
We love being international,
Yeah.
bruh.
Bro.
So all I'm going to say is I have no problems with the public school system in general. I think it needs to be managed better. I think
Mhm.
people need to be held accountable, and I think people need to be fired when they don't perform. Just like I think you and I both worked in the private sector for a very long time and
Mhm.
know that if you don't perform, if you consistently have issues,
Bye-bye.
you will be let go.
Yeah.
Uh, and it doesn't matter how long you've worked there. You yourself experienced a couple times where you had jobs that you had been at for a long time, and near the end, they didn't go so well. Didn't matter what you had done up to that point.
Right.
Which is also, don't get me wrong, that's slightly disconcerting from the other side of the extreme. But I definitely am more in favor of being held accountable, regardless of your tenure, regardless of how great you were 5 years ago. What matters is what you're doing today,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah.
Uh,
As
looking,
Janet Jackson said, "What have you done for me lately?"
yeah. So next up, major topic was housing crisis solutions. So Lombardo proposed the Nevada Housing Accountability Act to expand housing supply and prioritize development for residents over out-of-state investors. Key quote from this: "The root cause of our crisis is Nevada's families and builders being held back by the federal government's reluctance to release the land we need for housing." Did you know we've got this big old state, but we really only control about 20% of it? The other 80% is federally controlled.
Mm.
Were you aware of that?
Mm-mm.
So Lombardo did talk about that fact that he had met with Trump recently. to discuss this very fact that we need the feds to give us our land so that we can start building and expanding as we need to. We know that Californians want to get out of California. And there's going to be a lot of people looking for housing out of Southern California.
Wow. True, but
I mean, it's unfortunately a reality. They were some of those people were looking for a reason to get out. Well, now they have it. And we could talk on that topic a lot because I've got a lot to say on those fires and those insurance companies but let's focus. So what are your thoughts on the housing? So you are a recent first-time homeowner. You fortunately were able to procure a home. You did receive some assistance, some help from family in order to do it.
Yeah.
But let me ask you, like, if you had better opportunities to receive assistance from the state or whatever and do it on your own, would you have preferred to do that? Or are you okay with the way that it went down, so to speak?
Oh, I mean, I'm okay with the way it went down. Like it was one of those things where it was just like, hey, I mean, even this wasn't an option at the time, So, I mean, like, but yeah, no, I definitely, if I could have done it on my own, hell yeah, I would have loved to have been able to do it on my own. But because, I had, my mom was in a position to help me out and she wanted to help me out. And so I'm not gonna take that for granted. I literally, and like when I looked at these houses, I put it out there and I said, hey, does anybody does anybody want to help me get a house? And they were like, what? And I was like, it's under 300,000. It was a little bit, it was under 400,000. It was like 325 or something like that. And like, they were like, yeah, like, absolutely. Like we want to help you because they knew that, this would help me be more permanent. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, and according to our local couch surfer, the state has had a first-time homebuyer incentive for years. So maybe you should have looked into that, James. And Daryl,
no, we did take. I mean, we were able to use some of that too.
Daryl, thank you for my lovely bottle of scotch that I'm enjoying right now. My Kragenmore. He keeps giving me a hard time at work about this bottle because he got it for me and it's his favorite. And it's like, why didn't you just keep it for yourself then, man? He keeps asking me, when am I going to get some? And it's like, come on over. Anyways, next major topic, healthcare reform. So I kind of had heard about this. There have been rumblings, and it was confirmed. He announced the creation of the Nevada Health Authority. And what this really is it's taking the Department of Health and Human Services and kind of breaking it up a little, taking pieces of it, because it's a huge, massive department, frankly. And I think there are pieces of it that are mismanaged due to its size. And so I think splitting it up is a smart call. And so with that, he announced the Nevada Health Authority, and the intention is to centralize Medicaid and mental health services while also leveraging the state's purchasing power to reduce costs. Key quote here, we're building a system where families can trust they will find the care they need closer to home. He also brought up one of the big concerns for the state of Nevada, that we don't have enough medical providers. We have some really good ones, but if you look at the ratio of patients to doctors, it's not good. And so he kind of spoke to that and wanting to bring more to the state from that perspective. What are your thoughts there?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I have no problem with that, especially if it's a system that's, you can make it you can break it up, make it a little bit smaller, make it easier to manage, then absolutely, I'm all for that. Streamlining of Medicaid, health, mental health services. Yeah, I mean those are all vital things, I think. But as far as definitely, I would get more doctors out here. if that's what you need.
And Daryl, as someone who is experienced the Nevada system of health, he says you need better doctors and facilities in Nevada. The pay is better in California and Arizona. And Daryl's a person who travels out of state for medical services because
Oh,
what he needs is not easy to come by here in Nevada. We
yeah,
need more.
we literally, well, we just got a new hospital right up the street here on St. Rose that was just built, that just finished like a little while ago. So yeah, that's something that's a lot closer. We had an urgent care, but the other, I mean, not that the other hospital was far, because the one on there's like two on St. Rose now, one further up, and then one like right here, southern. So,
Mhm.
but yeah,
Next up was public safety and criminal justice. Lombardo introduced the Safe Streets and Neighborhoods Act, proposing tougher penalties for repeat offenders and measures to combat drug trafficking. Key quote here was: "Imagine a world." This is really disconcerting, by the way. Imagine a world where California is tougher on criminals than Nevada. That's the reality we face today, and that's a statement of truth. California voters just recently passed some laws to reverse prior voting that really relaxed some criminality, and we need to do that here. I am all for people being held accountable. You commit a crime, you do the time. That's what we were taught growing up.
yeah.
And you know what are your thoughts?
Oh man, like cool. I mean, the main thing is that, like, I did like the harsher penalties for repeat offenders. I mean, it's like, I mean, if it's I mean, we need to look at what, I mean, I guess it would be if they're doing the same offense over and over and over again. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if you haven't learned your lesson, it's gonna add up, man. Also, like, I think I want to know what this enhanced DUI,
Mm-hmm.
what that means. I want to know what that entails. Um, drug trafficking laws. Um, want to see what that entails as well. So what all that kind of, this is one I'd be definitely interested in reading up more on.
And Daryl, I'm not sure exactly what he's referring to, but that's Nevada. It's still wants to be the Wild West.
This is the in like a lot of TV shows, where, like, either like Man in the High Castle, or there's a couple other things where, like, kind of the United States was kind of falling apart, and Nevada was always still right there, but it's like literally just wild, wild west, like just the no man's land, basically.
Wild West.
Yeah.
Uh, One of the last major topics he spoke on was election integrity. And this I found interesting, but he advocated for voter ID laws and timely ballot counting, stating it's time we make sure the votes are in and counted by election day. And I agree. As far as I recall, when we grew up, we were able to count all the
Yeah,
ballots
it
in one
was.
day.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is what I'm confused on is like some of these states where it's like, oh, we don't start counting the ballots until election day. Like, wait, what? If you're getting ballots in, why don't you just get them counted, so that you
Yeah,
have the ball
you don't
rolling?
got to
You don't
announce
have to
it.
release them,
Yeah, you don't have to
but
release the
like,
counts.
like, hey, like, oh, we've received, you have early voting. You get those ballots in, start counting.
Going back to the crime topic, Daryl proposes that Nevada combine with California, Arizona, Idaho, and more to create a Southwest criminal database.
I would be okay with that. I
I,
mean, I would be okay with, like, because, like, some of these people, some of these criminals, they end up moving around, and so, like, if we
Mhm.
had more of
I'd
a
be fine with a national database.
yeah, more of a network that, so, like, yo, this is the same pattern. This, you can kind of, I mean, I don't know. how in depth it'll be, or it can be. But this is kind of the same pattern that they had that when they were here, and they and you can kind of follow the movement and be like, we got them type still. But yeah.
One of the things Lombardo brought up, switching back to the voter registration or voter ID, was, to the point, ultimately, we've got to have an ID to drive a car. We've got to have an ID to have an ID. Like, we're required at the age of 18 or older to hold an ID. Got to have an ID to go take a flight. Got to have an ID to do, to have a bank account. You got to have an ID for so many different things. Why not have an ID to vote? And he tried to push through a bill 2 years ago, which was, rejected by the state assembly. So he took it to the citizens, and the citizens of Nevada overwhelmingly supported and voted, yes, we want a voter ID. And here in Nevada, these types of things have to pass through 2 cycles. So it will be on the ballot again in 26. And if it passes again there, then it will become law.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't have a problem with showing it, a license to vote or whatever. Like, I think if like they expand the I mean, because I know like one of the things I've heard like one of the arguments is that IDs cost money.
Sure.
Yeah. But like if that's
usually end up, you pay for your ID, right?
Yeah. So I mean, the thing is that let's like if it's like an identification like that, keep the licenses the price they are, but like if it's like just a ID, let's make it a little bit easier to get one, make it a little bit more affordable or whatnot, so that they can be afforded. Like if somebody, like if there's like a tight budget thing and they can't afford. I mean, I don't know why you couldn't afford ID or whatever, but
you got to think about all the things that go into that ID, right? There's the piece of plastic and the printing, right? But it's more than that. It's the people that are running that print job. It's the people who are taking in the information to ensure that that person is valid and registered. So you're talking about their payroll, their benefits. So there's a lot of things that factor into that one ID to come up with an ultimate cost. But whatever that cost is, there shouldn't be a markup, right? We're talking about the government. Mm-hmm. It should be whatever that cost is. So if the cost on an ID is $15, then so be it. If that's the cost I have to pay to vote and know that my vote is counting and that someone else's isn't, that shouldn't be, I think that's a cost worth paying. And of course, there can always be state government subsidies to help those out that maybe can't find that $15. Mm-hmm. I think that's the excuse there of people having to pay for it, to me, is not a good one. There will be tons of nonprofits out there that will want to help people get their voter ID to help them vote. So
yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. I that's what I'm talking about. Like if like let's not make it a fight over like it's like people who want to vote, and you get a valid ID. That's all you need. I mean, it's not like you're gonna have to bring like 3 2 IDs plus a credit card or something to vote. No, it's just you'll this hey, this is me, and they can look at it and go, okay, this is you, cool, and move on. Here's your ballot. Actually, I don't think I have been to polling places, but I've literally just gone to drop off my ballot. That's about it.
Yeah.
It's less pressure for me, like, because like there's times when I get to the booth and I'm like, dang, I forgot what this was. And so like when I'm at home, I guess you can bring the booklet with you, the sample ballot or something with you.
Sure.
Yeah, you can bring that with you. So I mean, but that's an option. But I like doing it at home because then it gives me a little bit more time just
to do research too.
Yeah, to look at things and be like, okay, like who am I really, like what is this, like with some of the props and stuff like that. I definitely want to look in to make sure, okay, this is like, yes.
If I say yes, what does that actually mean?
Yeah, exactly. Because like a lot of the times it's just the wording. It's like yes means no, but no means yes. And it's like, bro, I've always said, just make yes, yes, and no, no, because that would make it way easier
Agreed.
in some of these things. But because I remember like, especially like when I was younger in California, and it was like proposition, vote no on this proposition because that's basically saying yes, and it's like, then what? Huh? Why is that? Oh, this is confusing.
Agreed. So some strengths and weaknesses I want to call out. I think that Lombardo's speech, there was a lot of pragmatism and vision. He clearly acknowledged some existing challenges paired with actionable solutions.
Mhm.
He did try to appeal to some bipartisanship. He called for collaboration. He did say, let's set our sights on shared goals and rise above harsh political rhetoric. And he focused. I think his speech was very poignant. Very he prioritized on housing, education, healthcare, and public safety, which are some of the voters' key concerns. A couple of weaknesses, I think. There was some partisan undertones, some proposals such as the voter ID law. It probably is going to alienate the Democrats. And then I think in general, there were times where he was a little bit had some ambiguity. Several broad objectives like addressing housing and education challenges didn't really give detailed implementation plans. And I get, it was a 45-minute speech.
Yeah.
There's only so much you can do in that. I don't know that he was limited to 45 minutes, or if that was just a choice that he wanted.
Yeah.
But I do feel like he could have done a better job fleshing out some of his thoughts, or whoever's thoughts they were that came up with those topics.
Right. Another thing, like when you talk about like partisanship as far as the voter ID law, let's like clean it up. Like don't make it so scary. Make sure you make it so that everyone will have, this will be something that everyone will have access to. They don't have to get, like, because some people might be worried about, oh, I have to get another ID to vote. No, just you have a license. I mean, this right here, this card can get you, you can vote with that card. Just something with your name, an ID that has your name, address, like all that stuff on it that you need, like you said, to get on a flight now. Oh, and by the way, speaking of flight, make sure you get your real IDs, people. Starting in May of this year. There's still time for them to change their minds on that, but this time it looks like they're actually going to be sticking with it. And in May of this year, you will need your real ID, and you will know it's a real ID. In most cases, it'll be a star somewhere in the top right corner. Top right corner of your ID. There'll be a star. In Nevada right now, it's the state with a star in it. California, it's a bear star. Number of other states just have like the star, sometimes in a state, sometimes on its own, that you'll need in order to be to get access to a flight.
Yeah, so some
thought I'd drop that on there to you.
Thanks for dropping the knowledge. So some things Daryl calls out. Some of these things we're talking about are issues that have been around for 20 years or more.
Yeah.
There's just not real change. You really have to dig deep and create the real reform. And I agree. And something that I've called out many, many times is that unfortunately, we're at a point in our politics where the most boisterous person or the loudest person is what's getting heard, rather than the good people who don't want to run, who don't want to be involved in politics, because there's all of these loudmouths out there that will just talk crap about you.
Absolute mess.
Without it even necessarily being true. And why put your family through that? Why put yourself through that? So what we're left with is the leftovers, those that want to make a buck off of you and I, that maybe don't even have our best interests at heart. And I'm not saying that's all people that are in politics, but I definitely think there's a lot more good people out there that are unwilling to be involved than there are.
They might be involved in other ways, but they're not going to be, but where they're involved and they're doing great. But, like people will be like, yo, why don't you like run for, higher office? Like, nah, I'm good. Because again, like you said, it's very like people are getting attacked over lies.
Mm-hmm.
People's lives have been put in danger because of lies. So it's not, sometimes it ain't worth it, man.
Well, let's talk about the Democratic response, which was presented by Speaker Yeager, who
Yeager.
Jägerbomb. Uh, he started off talking about education with an emphasis. Democrats highlighted their achievements in funding public education, teacher raises, and accountability measures. A key quote here was, "We increased our investment more than any other state in the nation with a record $2.2 billion increase in the public education budget." Uh, True statements. One of the things I didn't mention, that Lombardo did call out, that the raises for teachers that came out 2 years ago are going to be made permanent, and are in this budget and planning to move forward. He also did say that he wants to see raises for charter school teachers as well.
Hmm.
So, um, what are your thoughts on the Democrats? I mean, they called out some points that are valid, right? They highlighted that they gave teachers raises, that they increased funding for public education by $2.2 billion, but we haven't seen any improvement.
Are those just implementing? Are those new implements? Like they just
No. He was referencing the last 2 years what they've done.
Oh, I don't. I honestly I don't know anything about like what the scores were, where we were and where we are. Again, we're still low, but I mean,
You would think if you're going to tout the fact that you made the largest investment in the nation, that we should see some significant movement.
I mean, I wouldn't. I mean, just even moving up. I mean, because a lot of times it takes time for those things, like for like scores and all that kind of stuff. So I mean, but whatever it is, I mean, yeah, I mean, I would give it like at least another 2 years. If yeah, all that money is therefore then going into, and we're seeing an improvement in these scores, and in the whatever the standard, is it the standardized test and stuff, I don't know, but however they measure that, yeah, I would definitely would like to see some improvement, moving upward movement, very soon.
Yes, I will say that looking at some statistics, Nevada was 46th in 2022 and was still down at 40. Uh, it was at 44 in 23, and it looks like it's projected to be 44 or 45 in 24. So we're talking about
Oh, so
three or
we're in
four
top 10.
spots. I'm sorry?
No, I said
Bottom. We're in the
bottom 10. Yeah, that's what I'm
yeah.
saying. It's like
And the
yeah.
graduation rate increased by 0.2%. 0.2, to be clear. Daryl says, just fund education is not going to work. Clark County brought a new superintendent, then waited to fire him within 2 years.
Well, that guy was a piece of work.
The score will not improve. It has gone down. I guess my point is, ultimately, if you're going to try and tout all of these great things you've done, make sure they're great things that you've done. Let's be honest and realistic. You can call out the fact that you gave teachers raises. That's a great thing.
I believe they do need them, but make sure.
I
But at the same time,
I think great teachers need raises. I don't think all teachers need raises.
that's also true.
Next thing he spoke on was support for working families. He focused on easing the financial burden on families by addressing housing, healthcare, and prescription drug costs. Key quote, "We will pass legislation to ease the financial burden on families, whether it's making housing more affordable or reducing healthcare costs." Again, these things were generalities. And I will call out the fact that the Democratic response was only not even 10 minutes compared to the 45-minute speech by the governor.
The responses are always shorter.
Yes, generally are shorter. They're usually more about just speaking directly to what was in the governor's speech, and more about what his intentions are for the next 2 years, and them speaking to that, rather than them trying to talk about their own talking points, which didn't seem to be the case here. It really seemed like Yeager was trying to have his own talking points and focus on those, rather than focusing on a true response to Lombardo's speech. Nevada is one largest school budget in the country, top 5. I'm guessing Nevada is one of the largest school budgets in the country, top 5. And that probably is a true statement. I'd have to check the numbers, but I would imagine it's somewhere for sure in the top 10. Reproductive rights, because I guess we got to talk about that, even though this didn't come up at all in Lombardo's speech. He emphasized protecting abortion access with plans to enshrine these rights in the state constitution, which is already been voted on by the citizens.
So yeah,
we will continue to do everything we can at the legislature to protect the right to choose if and when to start a family. Again, it felt like he's just trying to like put some tallies up on the board for his base, rather than trying to be bipartisan, rather than trying to speak directly to what Lombardo's speech was about. Because again, we just had an election, we just had voting on that exact topic, and the voters
already they're like
reaffirmed what already existed.
Yeah, thanks.
So to quote,
it's already done, bro.
Again, I'm quoting. We will continue to do everything we can at the legislature to protect the right to choose if and when to start a family. You don't need to. It's already been done. So I'm a little confused there. Next up, he talked about voting rights. He opposed any restriction on Nevada's voting system, advocating for broad access to the ballot. Key quote here: Nevada is a unique state, and our voting laws must also be unique and allow you to vote in the way that makes the most sense for you. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I agree with that. It's I mean, like, except like again, like I don't have a problem with a voter ID as long as you make it accessible for people. If that's what yeah, I mean, I like like I said, I like being able to, get my ballot at the crib, do it, and then drop it off. I like, that's something that I like. I don't mail it in. I always drop it off. But like,
and Lombardo's not proposing.
No, and that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I don't understand why, because the only thing that seems to me is just like this voter ID situation, which again, like,
to be fair, Lombardo has a problem with mail-in ballots that are coming in a week after.
No, and that's absolutely, like, that's why I say, that's why I drop mine off. Like, I don't like, we need to have like for mail-in ballots, like, if you should be like, like
postmark date of
what? Yeah, like of
2 days before, 3 days before,
like, yeah, at least like that, maybe like I would say like almost like the day before election, like the day before. So
what if you're out of state? What if you're a military person that's voting in the Nevada election, but you're over in Germany or something? You still have the right to vote here in Nevada.
Yeah, no, and that's what I'm saying. Like, they get those, they get those at the same time, right? I mean,
sure, but you're saying they just need to be postmarked day before, right? So, guy in Germany, he gets, sends it in the mail day before. It doesn't get to Nevada until 3, 4, 5 days later.
Well, they need for military personnel, they need to get like that and stuff like that. I think there needs to be something faster that gets there, like, especially like for election stuff. Like, yeah, I want them to get their mail and stuff like that too. And be able to send stuff back and forth, but at the same time, like when it's election stuff, like that is like Zippity's quick mail. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and Daryl says you can't say crib after abortion on topic.
Stupid.
Fair enough.
But yeah, no, like that kind of stuff. Like, yeah, no, definitely. I think I mean, like I said, I always like, I can't speak for anybody else, but for me, I know I take my mail-in ballot, I fill it out at home, put it in the envelope, seal it up, sign it, and then I drop it off at the at a voting location.
Fair. Next topic was on climate. He advocated for renewable energy and addressing climate change, which again was not in Lombardo's speech. Lombardo did speak at one point about Nevada's economy and trying to make sure that we have a focus on clean energy. And Yeager quoted here, for home to mean Nevada, not just for us, but for future generations, we must ensure clean water, clean air, and protect our public lands. Again, I'm not sure again, this is a talking point. I don't see what this has to do with anything that was in Lombardo's speech. Um, so I really did not understand what he was getting at here. I didn't get the in anywhere from Lombardo's speech or in general that he is not for clean water, clean air.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, at that point, like, I wish I had seen that because, like, sometimes, um, yeah, like, let's have a response. Like, even there's been Republicans that have responded to, like Democratic governor stuff, and it's just like, what? Like,
Yeah, yeah. No, I
that,
agree.
yeah, like, let make it make sense. Like,
Respond to the speech.
it's like, like, if that wasn't in the speech, no need to bring it up. I mean, yeah, you could talk about stuff and make your try and score some of those points, of course. But at the same time, he was talking about bipartisanship. Agree with some of that. Agree with that. Yeah, we want to work to we look for we look forward to working with you. We look forward to having spirited debates about some of these topics. We look forward to some of that. But other than that, stick to it. I mean, yeah, you hit, making things affordable. Cool. Making, I don't understand the whole abortion thing, but that's been a hot button topic. But again, like you said, we already
Yeah.
got that.
Again, it's trying to
It's
tally, as far as I'm concerned.
yeah, like
Daryl says you're going to need nuclear to sublimate. I believe he meant supplement
supplement.
the demand for electricity. But what about the water? I don't know. Uh, and to your point about bipartisanship, that's one of the things I'm going to call out here in my strengths and weaknesses. So some strengths, definitely had a progressive vision. He addressed systematic issues such as housing affordability and reproductive rights with detailed plans, um, some of which aren't even needed. He had an appeal to unity. He stressed commitment to working for all Nevadans. We do not, quoting, we do not take your trust for granted and know that the decisions we make matter to you. A couple of weaknesses. It seemed kind of reactive. Much of his speech was framed as a rebuttal to governor's policies that he's had over the last 2 years rather than proposing independent initiatives. And it really just felt disjointed. And then also, he unlike Lombardo, who did call for some bipartisanship, it felt like he was almost against it. He did mention collaboration, but he did seem to have a strong opposition to policies without even having had any of the hearings or conversations yet. So I don't know. I really felt like
Maybe not the one to do that. But I don't know how they choose that, anyways. I don't know how they choose who does the
and
rebuttal or
Daryl
whatever.
claims that NB Energy does not want solar. Well, I don't really care what they want. I've got my solar. So, so I want to. I
I don't
did a
work
little
anymore.
slight comparison. Tried to be as impartial as I could here. I do lean right. We've talked about this. You lean left, but I try to be fair and balanced as much as possible. So there were some areas of agreement around education funding. Both parties seem to recognize the importance of education investment and teacher support. They both talked
Absolutely.
about the housing crisis. Both sides identified affordable housing as a priority through their approaches. I'm sorry, though their approaches might differ in execution. And economic growth. They both shared optimism about Nevada's economic recovery and the need for fiscal responsibility.
Cool.
Some major divergences, though, areas where they not so much. Uh, Education policy. The governor emphasized accountability and school choice, while Democrats focused on public education and opposed privatization. The governor quoted here, we must be willing to change the model. Yeager quoted here, we will continue to oppose any attempt to privatize public education. So that's not bipartisan at all. We're not even willing to have the conversation, is what I'm hearing. Election laws. Lombardo called for voter ID and stricter balloting deadlines, while Democrats championed broad access. And again, reproductive rights. Democrats pledged to codify abortion protections, even though they're already there. while the governor didn't even address the issue. So here's my overall impression. Both of these speeches reflect a commitment to addressing Nevada's pressing challenges, but they diverge sharply in ideology and proposed solutions. Governor Lombardo's speech focused on pragmatic governance and fiscal discipline, while the Democratic response emphasized social equity and protecting rights. The balance of bipartisan cooperation and ideological differences will shape Nevada's future. My last two key quotes from Lombardo: let's focus on what unites us. And from Yeager, we are here to shape the future for the better. What are your thoughts?
Okay. I dig both of those. Actually, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, absolutely. What unites us is there's, you know, let's look at that, and then the looking to make it better for the future. I want to see that, but again, let's put those together. And let's put those together and do it again. Let's try and
Yeah,
do it together, man.
I definitely strongly feel, and I've had these conversations with many people, that we're just too divided, and I don't know if we've crossed the line, and there's no coming back from it. It feels like that might be the case. It feels like those that are in politics are just beyond the point of repairing the divide, and I find it to be very disconcerting.
There needs to be, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think states might be a little bit easier, but at the same time, a lot of states are very divided, um, and that causes, you know that causes the issues. Like, and it's like, not, we're talking about like those ones that are extreme. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what a lot of the issue is. I would like to get a lot of those people who were super extreme out, or minimize
But
their
going back
what
to
we
what I said
hear
before,
from them.
would you ever
but
run?
but like you said earlier, the ones I've I think we've talked about it, and it's like, at the same time, I don't have that. I don't have the people, that will be put in
Well, that
danger
doesn't answer
because
my
of me.
question. Would you
If for
would
some,
you run for something?
I've never really thought about it, man. I mean, I think that I would be interested in possibly
You
doing
know
something like that.
I've talked about before that I've ran some political campaigns back in California, for both parties, because I'm not beholden to a party. I believe in the person more than I do the politics, and if there is a good person out there, I don't care if you're left leaning or right leaning, as long as you're going to do what is best. For the people, regardless, and you're not just going to vote partisan and whatever your party tells you to do. That's what I'm most interested in. Hearing the topic, listening to the
Hmm.
debate, fully engaging in the debate, and then making the decision that is best for your constituency, those people that you represent. That's what we're lacking. And Daryl checking in now from YouTube. United Shape. Is that a Picasso or a Dolly? I believe that's a Dolly. Um, but my point in
Salvador.
asking that question is that there are good people out there that are opinionated, that have thoughts that definitely could or would be better than what we currently have. They just don't run. And for whatever reason, maybe they think they don't have the finances, maybe they don't think know how to do it. Um, but it starts with the spark of wanting to, and if you have the ambition or the drive to want to, the rest will fall into place. If people believe in you and what you're presenting, they'll give you money to help you make it happen, because they believe in you. People will follow
Hmm.
you and help you to be successful if they believe in what you're selling. um, I don't know. I'd like to see more people out there step up. I am not a good face. I know that I would be terrible for politics. I'm the guy that helps the guy. You know what I mean? I'm not the guy. And Daryl says,
Yeah.
we are really not that divided. The Democratic policies for voting have benefited the Republican. If you take fund for private schools, mostly the higher income, you that away from public schools. If you take the fund from private schools, you take that away from public schools. I'm not sure I understand there. Um, anyways, it was State of the State night here in Nevada. We, if you missed any of it, go back, rewatch the State of the State, watch the Democratic response, and then come back and rewatch this episode to hear our thoughts. But I think for now, it's time for us to switch over to some of our normal stuff. What do you think? All right, let's do it like this then, shall we? Good evening, everyone. I am Mark, your fat friend, and this is the
And I'm
Fat and
James, the
Black
Black
Connection.
Friend, where we talk about anything and everything as long as it's
Absolutely, because if it's
interesting
not
to us.
interesting to us, why are you partaking?
Yeah,
Anyways,
why?
we are live. It is January 15th, 2025, 9:05 p.m. on the left coast, west coast, nothing but the best coast.
Cheers. Oh, hey, yo, have you heard of this
Zevia?
soda brand
Yes.
called Zevia? Yo, these things are absolutely
Interesting.
delicious.
My wife has been, we picked some up for my wife because she wanted to try them, and not so much. Yes, not so
Really?
much.
Oh, I absolutely love them.
Well,
Because this one, so actually it's funny because I got a Coke here, and then I have the Zevia Cola here.
are you mixing them?
No. I'm just pouring the Zevia into a glass because I have not done that yet. But as you can see, even the cola
I mean, Pepsi did
is
that.
clear. Yes, I understand that. But this one is, again, 0 calories. I can actually pronounce everything on the can.
Can you?
Yeah. Because it's carbonated water, natural flavors, stevia leaf extract. Actually, that
See?
one I can't pronounce.
And what are the natural flavors? See, that always bugs me.
Tartaric acid and caffeine and citric acid. But yeah, no, it's zeros. But I've actually quite enjoyed it. Actually, tell you the truth. Yeah, and like they have. Well, I'm sure you got the same pack.
Sam's Club or
Sam's
Costco,
Club?
one or the other.
Yeah, so I bought the pack at Sam's Club, and they had all the flavors at least that are out now. They had the cream soda, which I'm normally not a fan of cream soda or root beer, but I like those. Their ginger ale is pretty good. Their cola is good, and I also enjoyed their orange and grape flavor.
I'm not surprised about the orange and grape.
No, but I've enjoyed these a lot, and so I think I'll probably be
fair enough.
purchasing
I have
more.
not tried them. I should, especially since my wife doesn't like them that much. I should just try and drink them. It's been a week since we last chatted. A couple things have happened in that last week for me. One, missed a couple days from work. I had some really bad neck and shoulder pain. I don't know what the heck was going on there. Um, it was
Getting
not
old.
enjoyable. We've got Profile checking in over on Kick, Joe Budden. And so I missed 2 days from work just because I didn't even want to get out of bed. It was not enjoyable. To the point
Yikes.
where I finally sucked it up, and on Tuesday I went over to the Joint. That is not a
Oh,
pot
yeah.
shop,
I've
ladies
been
and
there.
gentlemen. It is a chiropractor.
Chiropractic, yeah. Off.
Never
Office.
had I ever prior, and I was
Yeah, I've been there a
nervous.
couple times.
I'm not gonna lie. I was a little like, I don't want to do this, just because again I've never done it and kind of conceptually scared me. Um, no, and
Probably scared.
I've talked to a number of people that had gone and had been to the Joint specifically, and I was like, okay, so I kind of had to psych myself up, and I went, and I actually made an appointment because they do appointments, so I made an appointment for 11. I drove over, um, in some pain. Not It wasn't as bad on Tuesday, but it was not good.
Yeah, I've had those times when I get over there and I'm just like,
And
oh
and I
god.
get there and I walk in and there's a sign up front that says, "We're short staffed. We're not taking any new appointments." Then why did you let me make an appointment? So I called over to the next closest store or location and said, "Hey, are you guys available?" Blah blah blah. And they were like, "Yeah, come on over." So I drove 10 minutes down the road. And the nice thing is, there's three here in Reno, one in Sparks, one in Carson. So there's five, relatively five for me, which is nice. So I drove over there, uh, met the doctor, talked with him, explained some of what I was going through, and we talked, and he cracked the heck out of me. There were things that cracked and popped that I did not know could do that. And
Right.
I don't know how to describe it. There was the warning of, hey, you might be in some pain, blah blah blah. I did not experience any like post workout pain or anything like that. Not that I might remember what that feels like. Um, but I actually, coming out of the office, I don't know if this is unique or whatever, but I had like a slight sense of euphoria.
Yeah. Because you actually it's because a lot of things are released, bro.
And today, because this was yesterday, and today I feeling pretty good, feeling pretty loose. But I did sign up for, it's basically like a 3-month membership kind of thing to get you in and really get through the process of getting your body to where it needs to be. So I'm planning to drop by there tomorrow, and then the weekend. And so the first month I've got like 12 sessions. So we'll see.
Okay.
I signed up for the 3 months and see where I'm at the end of that. And if it's definitely feeling better, then it might become a normal thing. But I will say, I today and yesterday after felt comparatively amazing. So if you're out there
Yeah.
and you've got body pains and stuff, and you've thought about it, go try it.
Check them out. They're not bad. I mean, and it's the pricing. Pricing can be somewhat like but at the same time, for you to feel better, and and don't get me wrong, like I went a couple times, and like yes, things popped and everything, but I was still kind of uncomfortable. But it was more it was more how it felt better. It wasn't as bad as it was when I went in. Like I might not be 100%, but I'm definitely, like 60, 70, percent better than when I went in. So and then, you can always go to Walmart or whatever, grab some patches to help you out to also, help relieve some of that pain and things
Agreed.
like that too. So.
And one of the things I didn't call out when we were talking about on the other show about the state of the state that was tonight is that Lombardo did call out the project that I've been working on and that we went live. And that we exceeded everyone's expectations and blah blah blah. So
Hell, it seemed like it
sure
exceeded
did.
your expectations.
Well, I guess the one thing.
Because I know you were nervous though, but
Well,
that's
and
because
I'll
you were
say
also
this:
working on it. I think.
while we went live, it has not been easy. It has not been smooth. Um, there are things that could have been better prepared for, planned for, and I think again, when your focus is a date rather than a goal, sometimes that's not going to end up
Right.
necessarily in a great way. So,
Mhm.
so the next thing I wanted to talk about is last week we made some predictions around the NFL playoffs, and how do you think you did? Do you remember?
I think I did. I think I'm like 50%.
So to that point, first up, let's talk about in the Vikings Rams. You had
Those embarrassing.
Hold on. Let's focus here.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry.
Can we focus?
Got me mad out here. Dang, Jimmy, you showing up late, son. Hey.
So Vikings Rams, based on how the Vikings had played in their final game against the Lions, we got a lot more of the same.
Yeah, because I was thinking, okay, like I was thinking they maybe sat people because it was the last game or whatever. So it was like I wasn't really worried about the score. But going into the playoff, I'm like, yo, you're in a wild card game. This is win or go home. I'm thinking you're actually gonna bring your A game. How do you score 18 points in 2 weeks?
Final score 27-9 Rams win to move on. Next up on that same side was the Washington Commanders going into Tampa Bay.
Oh no, I think I'm only 25% because I thought for sure that Tampa Bay was going to beat them, especially at home.
You did pick Tampa Bay,
and the Washington on a
doink
field goal that hit the upright and fell in, bro.
23-20 Commanders.
Man, crazy.
You did get the next one right. The Packers Eagles 22-10 Eagles. I'm surprised that game was somewhat as competitive as it was.
It started off that way.
Descended into chaos. Over on the other side, you had the Chargers and Texans.
And I thought the Chargers were going to do work.
32-10 to 12 Texans. Next up was Steelers and Ravens. I'm surprised the Steelers scored anything. I think the Ravens might have just felt bad. Because I think if the Ravens wanted to, they could have just completely dominated. Why does it seem James is dubbed like a 70s kung fu movie? Because James has terrible internet. That's why.
Well, I also have both computers going right now too. That's probably an issue.
Well, the weird thing is today on my end, you actually are synced up.
Yeah, that's normally sometimes like I lost you a little bit earlier. It got choppy, but then it now it's been fine, and like right after that little piece, it was fine.
And then lastly, over on the AFC side, Broncos Bills, which you accurately predicted. Bills 31-7. Pretty much mud hole stomping.
Yeah, and the only reason, I need to go back to that Chargers game, is that I thought, I was like, Harbaugh's been coaching the heck out of these boys, and they came back, and I was thinking, okay, I could rock with those guys, and yeah, they didn't show up. The Vikings, embarrassing, absolutely embarrassing.
So just to be clear, you were 50%.
I was 50%. Okay.
On the other hand, I was 5-1.
Huh?
Yes, I accurately predicted the Rams and the Eagles on the NFC side. Okay. I was with you with the Bucks, and on the AFC side, I nailed all three.
Okay. Well,
so what that leads us to is taking a look at the matchups for this week. And what we're going to do here is we're kind of going to start over, if you will. But we're going to start here from this divisional round with these new matches. So, James, for you, looking at the NFC divisional, Commanders heading into Detroit, who do you got winning here?
Lions!
And Rams heading into Philly.
Philly.
And over on the AFC side, Texans heading into KC.
KC.
Interesting. And Ravens Bills.
Listen, I was talking with my boy Nate about this today.
Mm-hmm.
Here's why I'm going with the Bills. Lamar Jackson has constantly disappointed every time right now. Not every time, but he's disappointed when it gets down to these big games right here. He disappoints. I want him to do well. I like him as I like his interviews and stuff. I like him as a person. I think he's a phenomenal quarterback, or not phenomenal. I think he's a great quarterback, and I think he's an exceptional person. But just when it comes down to these big games, in the last couple seasons, I haven't seen it.
Okay, so to be clear, you're projecting the conference titles to be the 1 and 2 on each side.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, talking about these divisional games, I see. I agree with you. Lions are going to win. I think the Rams have got the Eagles' number, though. I think the Rams are going to win this one. And over on the other side, I'm feeling the Texans right now. And
shenanigans, bro. That's the only
way KC is going to win is by shenanigans.
That's what I'm saying. It's like shenanigans.
Look, you're going to watch the same game as me. If I end up being wrong and it's because of shenanigans, I think that still gets me like a half point. And then
we ain't playing half points here, son.
And then the other game, I've got the Ravens.
Of course you do. Which doesn't surprise me because I know you're a Ravens fan. And like if Jacksonville was in this situation, I'd be with Jacksonville. But yeah, I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I like Lamar Jackson. Like I said, I think he's great. But it's just in these big games, he for some reason seems to fall apart. At least the last couple seasons. This season could be different. And
all right. Fair enough. So now let's look at your new conference games. So now you've got Lions, Eagles in the NFC conference, which you
Lions
had
going to the Super Bowl, baby.
All right. So you still got the Lions going. And then on the other side, you've got Chiefs, Bills, which you had last time as well.
I said Chiefs because of shenanigans.
Still going with Chiefs, huh? Well, for me, I'm going to go with the Lions. I agree with you. I think they're going to get there. And I'm Ravens, Texans. I'm feeling better about my Ravens.
Okay.
So I think Ravens are going to the Super Bowl. So who's winning your Super Bowl? Lions or Chiefs?
Lions. I have to believe.
And the final score will be?
I would like to adjust my scores from last week.
Okay. And to be clear, last week you said 50.
Yeah. And I'm going with a over. I'm going to go with the over on the 30. So
that's not how we're doing it. What is the total points going to be?
Oh,
it's not over under.
Okay. I'm going to go with total of 37.
Okay. And taking a look at my side, I've got the Lions Ravens Super Bowl, and as much as it pains me to do so, I am going with the Lions to win, and I'm going to put this at a total points of I'm going to go 38.
Listen, I don't know what it is, but I feel that the people of Detroit deserve this, bro. They listen, I don't know if you know. I don't know if you know this, but there is nobody in this country that reps that team harder than people from Detroit. Or like every time I see somebody with a Lions hat on, Lions jersey, like Lions anything, I'm like, you're from Detroit or Michigan, or like I'm from Detroit, yeah, or from Michigan. I'm like, like they absolutely rep that team to the fullest, and so and they've had a lot of hard times, and that bum Stafford goes to LA and wins the Super Bowl. Are you kidding me? Get out of here.
So Jimmy calls out Lions and Eagles on the NFC and Ravens Chiefs on the AFC, and that he thinks the Ravens will beat the Bills and then chalk against the Chiefs. The Chiefs. Chiefs? Chiefs? Chiefs.
Who are the chefs? Great googly moogly.
But the people of Detroit aren't playing, James.
Oh, I understand that, but like the Lions, they rep in that city.
Perhaps the fine people of Winnemucca will play.
The people they rep in that city.
So we'll check back in next week, see how we're doing. But right now, I'm mudhole stomping you 5-3.
Yeah, that's not normal.
No, not so much.
That's not normal at all.
I'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like that's like the first time you've ever beat me.
Yeah, we've tied, we've pushed before.
Yeah, but
for me to outright,
yeah, it's either me beating you or we tie.
Yeah,
it's never been you beat me.
Yeah, and I didn't just beat you by one.
No, by a lot. Well, two.
Yeah.
So, but hey, a dub's a dub.
Absolutely, inch or a mile.
Hey.
So did you happen to catch that new trailer for Daredevil?
I did.
What'd you think? Daredevil Born Again.
Very interesting. Now, so this is Born Again. This is continuate. Well, at least as far as Daredevil and Kingpin, they are the same. Is the storyline? So this is a continuation of after the Netflix?
Yeah. So what it sounds like to me is that maybe Murdoch was one of those that got blipped, where Kingpin did not.
Oh, okay.
And so it's kind of playing into some of that, which explains how he became mayor by spending those 5 years getting people to rally behind him as a leader.
Because he didn't have to do anything, and that because Echo is like after the blip, right? Or
I think it's post blip. I mean, it definitely is.
Yeah, no, because it's post because she's going after because there was a whole thing with Ronan.
Yes.
Who went? Yeah. AKA Hawkeye. Who? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's post blip.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. We heard this is going to be a longer series, somewhere in the vicinity of like 17 or 18 episodes.
Nice.
I
was just kind of interested to see, it looks like he still has his team, but it's not the same people that were in the Netflix series.
Are you sure? They look the same to me.
The two that were walking with him, like on the street.
Yeah,
they look different to me.
Pulling up the IMDb right now and looking at the cast, and for sure, Deborah Ann Woll. Yeah, that was the same Karen Page from the original series.
Okay. The other dude looked different though.
Yeah, I'm looking up Foggy.
Foggy, that's his name.
And he's not even either way showing up on. Oh, there he is. Yeah, Eldon Henson, 18 episodes. playing Foggy. It's the same guy.
No, it didn't look like the same guy.
I
Like,
mean, I
well,
can't speak to what you observed, but I'm just saying it's the same actor, same.
but didn't he, wait? What in the wasn't he working? Didn't he end up going to work for another firm or something?
I don't know, but also
Yeah.
John Bernthal is back as Frank Castle, also known as the Punisher.
Nice. Oh, thank God they saved that guy.
Yeah, so there are rumors that they're going to be bringing back, and I don't know if it's going to be throughout Daredevil that we're going to see some of the others, but uh, the
Leave
the
Iron Fist. You don't have to bring him. You can absolutely leave Iron Fist behind.
there are rumors though that the Netflix universe was MCU.
Yeah, they were trying to say it wasn't. They I know in the first season of Jessica Jones they made reference to the sky opening,
Mhm.
which is, first Avengers, which okay. But yeah, no, I thought they were going to bring Jessica Jones back.
That's what I've heard as well, so that could
Yes.
happen.
So cuz it was over there on Netflix, it was Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Daredevil,
Iron Fist.
Iron Fist, and Punisher. Right? Or
Yep,
did
those
Punisher
are the
have?
Punisher. Yep, there were
Yeah,
five
the five series.
series.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
and the Defenders.
oh yeah. Well, listen. You can. I have no problem with you bringing back Jessica Jones. Love Jessica Jones. Luke Cage. I didn't really care for the way that the second season ended. Um, I loved Daredevil, and I really enjoyed Punisher. Iron Fist. You can go die. Not really, but the show can just go die because
Wow,
the show was not good.
I don't agree.
Iron Fist was like the most boring of all those shows.
I personally, to me, my least favorite was actually Jessica Jones.
Really,
I thought it was okay.
I really enjoyed. I mean, the first season of Jessica Jones was better than the second season of Jessica Jones, of course. But at the same time, I enjoyed Jessica Jones more than I did not enjoy Iron Fist whatsoever.
I
I
don't
mean,
know
no,
why.
I can't say I didn't like it whatsoever. I didn't enjoy it as much as the other series.
I don't know why you say of course, because one of the other things that we wanted to talk about tonight is What If, and season 2 of What If to me was better than season 1, and season 3 was damn near close.
Yeah, season 3 was
Uh,
awesome.
so I'm not
I'm a little
sure.
disappointed that
Like
that's not.
when you say of course, you make it sound like, oh yeah, always season 1 is the best of a
No,
show.
I was just saying. I was saying, of course, I'm talking from my own head. Like I think season 1 was better than season 2, and I'm saying, of course, because I feel that season 1 was better than season 2 of Jessica Jones.
And I'll agree with you. Season 1 was significantly better than season 2 of Jessica Jones, but season 1 to me still was just, it was okay.
Oh,
I didn't love
I
it. I didn't hate it, but it was okay.
yeah, I enjoyed that one. And then, like I said, I liked the first season of Luke Cage. I also liked the second season of Luke Cage. I just didn't really like the way that Luke Cage ended.
Fair enough. Did you happen to observe in the trailer for Daredevil some new characters that are being introduced?
I saw. I don't. Unfortunately, I'm not. I'm really bad with some of these character names.
I think, and I could be wrong, but I think I saw Bullseye, who was in,
I'll look. I'll watch it again.
and I think I saw White Tiger.
Is that that's I didn't know who that was. I was like, why I should know this, but I don't. Yeah,
So we'll see.
they
I
need some.
always,
They actually definitely need to bring some new villains, and that's just I would think that would be needed because
Mhm.
you have Kingpin as this mayor character, so as Mayor Kingpin. So I mean, you have to. He's gonna definitely insulate himself,
Oh, for sure,
and even
for
as
sure,
Kingpin, he insulated the hell out of himself.
absolutely.
I
And
would love
then
to see. I would love to see some Echo in this series too, at least at the beginning, like when that fight happens that they had. I'd be down to see that. Well, we already saw it in the Echo, so I mean, we don't really need it. But
yeah, and I didn't love Echo. I thought it was okay.
I liked it.
Of course you did. Of course you did. Last thing to talk about tonight. You pulled this up and shared it on the page. So where's this at?
This is at Tokyo Disneyland, Tokyo Disneyland.
On there, It's a Small
It's
World.
a small, yeah. Now featuring Groot and some of the other Avengers, and they're like some of them are replacing characters, but like yeah, I thought I was like, man, that looked so much fun.
I feel like it might be too much though. Looking at
These
all
are
of these,
just, I think it's still the regular characters in there. I think what they did was they just added Marvel touches to it. That's what they were doing, and um, uh, yeah. All I know is, you know, there's gonna be a lot of I am Groot.
like I said, I think it's cute and all, but I do feel like it's just a little bit too much. I think less is more. Um, I'm on board with them adding some Marvel characters here and there throughout, but I think having Groot 20, 30 times throughout the ride is just a little excessive. I didn't see this one before.
Yeah, Ant-Man and Wasp.
Yeah,
Yeah.
riding an ant. Is that the heart-shaped herb
That's what it looks like.
from Wakanda?
Wakanda.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm not. Oh, hey, I didn't notice that either.
Oh, I haven't seen that. I didn't see that one either.
Doctor Strange and
Wong?
just Doctor. No, I think it's just Doctor Strange.
Oh, Miss Marvel.
Rocket.
Nice. Yeah, no, I just like, everybody likes Baby Groot, man.
Yeah, like I said, it's
Oh,
cool.
that's that's you made this stuff out of the leaves. That's awesome. Yeah,
It's a small world with
Groot.
Groot. Yeah. I mean, if I was going, I'd be down to see it, but
Yeah,
it's not something that where I'm like, we got to go.
yeah. No, it's like that. I'm saying I would really, I would like to be able to see that. That looks a lot of fun.
Yeah. Speaking of, we got to
looks
go.
a lot of fun. Looks like a lot of fun.
You know what I did this week? I forgot to mention earlier. I booked my flight to Hawaii.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you did tell me about that.
Yeah, I've got my flight booked. I'm flying out the morning of the cruise, going straight to Honolulu. Go straight to the ship.
Yep.
Go on the cruise. Get off the cruise. Fly straight back.
There you go.
So, originally it talked about going day early, day late,
Yeah.
but
yeah, with everything, with all the people you got going, absolutely. Yeah, thanks a little bit.
best viewers on streamboo.com remove the space at FM. Thank you, Main Tyrant.
Main Tyrant.
I don't even know. What is Streamboo?
Streamboo.
I don't even want to look that up because I feel like I'm going to get a virus just from going to that website. And I'm not talking about a computer virus.
Oh! Internet herpes.
He's going to get some non-gonosypha herpelides or something.
Oof.
Anyways, what else is going on with you, man? Anything fun and or exciting?
Not really, man. Nothing crazy going on. I got on Friday. I'm working. I'm doing some union stuff for at work, so I don't actually have to be on the floor that day. We have our bids. We have our bids started. New shift bids. I bid on next Tuesday. So I'm trying to get the same. Well, at least I'm trying to get 10 hours. I'm trying to get the same days off. If I don't know, I haven't really looked at. I'll when I go in on Saturday. Actually, I think I'll probably look at it on Friday too, but look at like the lines and see what those are looking like. Because I would like to stay. I would like to stay at my terminal. I would like to stay. I would like to stay at least somewhere around the same shift. Maybe if there's one a little bit later, I'd be okay with that. but like have the same Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday off. Actually, you know what? I need to look at holidays coming. Um,
While you're looking at that, how's Oak Bridge coming along?
we're getting closer.
What does that mean? Like percentage wise?
We are. Uh, I would say we are 85%. I finish up with Sam and Doug on Tuesday. I just realized that I have some Sheriff Moore stuff, and I was like, oh my god, how did I miss this? And so I'll contact him tomorrow and be like, hey, we need to get this done. Um, and then I just have I have some Jimmy stuff that needs to get recorded.
Did you not have a session with him already?
He missed the last two sessions that we were supposed to have. One he didn't realize, and then the other one, I don't know. Sorry, I'm looking at June and July. Oh, Independence Day is on the Friday. Whatever. Okay, but yeah, no. If I keep the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'll be okay with that.
Looks like the Warriors game just went final. 116-115 Warriors,
Oh, yeah,
for those who care.
yeah. I didn't even know. I didn't realize they were. I'm sure they're playing tonight. Of course they are. But yeah, no. Other than that, so I got to get. I have to get some things paid off. I'm working on it. I paid for the engine. I'm paying off the other stuff, so I'm trying to get that done, or at least half of it done this next week, and then the next paycheck get the rest of it done. But yeah, no, I'm just making it do what it do, baby.
Right on. Well, if you don't have anything else, I'm tapped.
Yeah, I think it was good. Good show. Oh, by the way, are they just gonna anytime they have an X-Men character in anything MCU, are they just gonna have that piece of the theme play, a little piece of that 1997 retro theme play?
Um, yeah, I guess you kind of have to, right?
Because all
Oh,
of a sudden
here's Storm.
I saw yeah, like yo what like when they did that with Professor X in Multiverse of Man or yeah Multiverse of Madness, I was like yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they've done it, they've had like I think there was some other point in time they did it. They had another character. Oh, I think when Gambit showed up in Daredevil, I think it played
Deadpool.
or what I say, Camp. What did I say? Daredevil. I meant Deadpool. Yeah, I
But there
think it.
was also in the Kamala Khan Miss Marvel series.
Oh yeah, when they say when she says she's a mutant, or they find out she's a mutant.
Mm-hmm.
And then and then with this Storm, they dropped it in there, and I was like, yo, is this what's gonna be every time? Just like I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. I just find it, I find it
I
kind
think
of
it's
funny.
okay for them to do that if what they're insinuating is that these characters are from that universe. If they're going to move towards, their own version of the mutants in the MCU, um, in the prime timeline, Earth 616, whatever, um, I think they got to stop because I think it needs to be its own thing. And you can insinuate that, the Earth where we got Professor X was let's say what that was the 97 Professor X, because clearly that X was not the same as what we had in the 20th Century Fox.
Right. Well, no, that's the one we start. Well, no, he was different because he didn't have that wheelchair, of course. Yeah, because he
Mm-hmm.
had the regular wheelchair.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, because I know. So I mean, yeah, I mean, I think that's such a classic chair, though, bro. Like that's such a classic chair. Um, that I was. It was. I mean, I kind of understand what it was. I kind of understand why it wasn't there because that would have been kind of bulky for them to probably move around, um, and set wise. But man, seeing it in Multiverse of Madness was killer, bro.
Mhm.
That was so killer.
No, I agree, and that's why I'm saying like I think the X Men that we got up to this point, where they've used that flourish, if you will, is intentional to signify that those are from that universe. What I'm also thinking is that when we get the X Men introduced truly into the MCU, it's going to be a part of the multiversal war, where we're going to get them from a different universe brought into ours,
Okay.
and so the music can change and all that kind of stuff, and you don't have to see that forward. You know what's been rumored to be happening finally is an actual Hulk film. It sounds like
Another Hulk film.
yeah, and it sounds like Marvel finally has gotten the rights back from Universal to do Hulk.
Oh, is that what was holding them up?
That's why there couldn't be a Hulk film. That's why they've been able to use Hulk in other films, but to have his own film, they
Oh,
would have had to pay Universal or had Universal be a
jeez.
part of it.
I didn't realize that. I should have known that. That's why we haven't. I mean, like I was always kind of like, yeah, why we Hulk's been involved in a lot of the films,
Hmm.
but never hasn't had his own film since
Hmm.
what was that? The Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, and he's had his own arc. If you really think about, like, if you were to take his character from, you know, the first Avengers and the second Avengers and the third Avengers, and you look at all of that with Thor Ragnarok, and
Hmm. Yeah, he's
the
had an arc,
character has really had an arc that
but not had his own movie. Not carried his own movie.
correct.
Hmm.
But the film that is rumored to be in pre-production is World War Hulk. Because if you
Well,
think
we
about
get the
what
Red Hulk coming, so
we got, the Red Hulk coming. We know
hmm
Abomination is out there. We've got
yeah,
She Hulk. At the
yeah,
end of She Hulk, we got introduced to Scar, his son.
yeah.
There are rumors that we're going to, here in the very near future, see uh, Eric Bana return as Hulk.
Ugh, that Hulk was horrible.
Yes, but he'll be from a different universe.
Okay, as long
And
as he doesn't grow, bro, that was irritating.
that we will also likely see Maestro Hulk that would potentially be played by Lou Ferrigno.
Maestro Hulk.
Yes, Maestro Hulk or Maestro Hulk.
I don't know that one.
He's the big older Hulk with like big white beard.
Oh, okay. Oh, Lou Ferrigno. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Respect.
Yes,
Respect for Lou.
yes. Sounds like Edward Norton can still go suck one though.
Bro, he's such like don't get me, I used to like him, but he's one of those actors kind of like that kind of bug me, kind of like Sean Penn. Like, bro, you don't just
Get out of your own A.
yeah, like you're getting in your own way. Like
Mm-hmm.
the reason that you are not in the MCU now is because you were kind of a kind of a jerk, kind of a pain in the butt, and you didn't want to do promotion because they didn't use like the version of the script that I helped write. Get it? So you hurt yourself.
Of course, I honestly think that God, why am I blanking on his name right now?
Terrence Howard.
Well, he also screwed up. You're playing Rhodey. You're not going to make more money than the star of the film. Like,
No, he just wanted equal money.
I thought he wanted more.
That's not what he said. He said he just wanted equal.
Oh, well. I mean, yeah, he was blowing up, but at the same time, come on, man. Like
You are not Iron Man.
Yeah, right. Hey, listen, overall, work it into your contract where you get some of the box office and stuff. Like
Mhm.
that's where you can make your money. And then you'd be in these movies and you make random appearances and you probably make the same paycheck. You like that paycheck that you made for like, one movie, you can make for doing even less work in a series or something like
Mhm.
like he did. Like Don Cheadle did. He's probably making like he probably didn't make that much money from like the first, when he took over, but he's probably equaled out.
Well, and he does a one episode guest spot on like Falcon Winter Soldier, and he probably got paid bucks for that.
Yeah, I'm saying like he probably made like what he made on a movie for that, and he was like he probably worked for like
A day or two.
a day, yeah, or maybe a week, depending on what they cut.
Mhm.
And they were like, he's like, hey, listen, can I just get all my stuff shot in like as soon as possible? And they were like, sure, got you.
Mhm.
But no, who plays Hulk now?
Crap. What's his name? Wow. You just made me draw a blank.
Yeah, because I'm like, man, I Jesus.
Mark Ruffalo.
There we go. Jeez, first creepers, Mark Ruffalo. Yeah, honestly, I think for me, he's a better Hulk, anyways.
Oh, I agree.
And because like I don't know if we might have talked about this years ago. A guy I worked with named JB. Shout out to Soderstrom out there, Mr. Soderstrom. If I don't know if you probably don't watch the show, but I used to work with him at Red Robin, and we would talk about these things, and I was like, I don't know how I feel about Mark Ruffalo being the new Hulk. And he was like, he looked at me, he goes, who does Mark Ruffalo play in most of the movies that he's in? I was like, he plays like that kind of unassuming love interest, like kind of shy, whatever. Who is the Hulk? And I was like, he goes, he's trying to stay hidden, trying to stay kind of under the radar, kind of, doesn't want to make a whole lot. And I was like, oh, or not the Hulk, but Bruce Banner. And I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. So I mean, like they definitely did. I think they've done a great job with, if they're replacing somebody, they replace them with somebody that I think has done if not better, on par with. Personally better.
Yeah, I would tend to agree that. I'm trying to think if there have been any other major replacements aside from
No, I think that was it.
Cheadle and Ruffalo.
I think those are the only two. Is if whatever happened to what was that, Liv Tyler?
Mm-hmm.
Liv Tyler's Betsy Ross.
Mm-hmm.
She hasn't been anywhere.
There are rumors of her return coming.
Good. Well, it's not. I mean, I was always like, where the hell is she at? We had more Darcy than we've had Betsy Ross.
I think the Howard the Duck Darcy storyline in What If is my
so
favorite.
Great. That was so great.
Well, and the fact that their child ends up
late in the end,
yeah, like that's crazy to me. Birdie.
Yeah.
Really? That's the name of your child, Birdie?
I've met somebody, their name was actually like Birdie. I've heard of somebody named like Birdie.
Oh, I mean, I've heard it too, but like, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like, and Birdie is. See, I like. Part of me wondered. I was like, is this character like, how you say,
made up?
Yeah, like for What If, but it's not. It is an actual character. Now, I don't know if Birdie's history is so. Birdie is a mutant in the comics, and she's actually the partner of Sabretooth. And so I don't think it's the same Birdie, which is what's interesting, because that one had like telepathy powers.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of weird because I don't think it's the same one.
Yeah, there's still time. That was a great episode. I did actually I also liked the Shang-Chi and
in 1852 or whatever.
Yeah, it was Shang-Chi and
Hawkeye.
Was that? Oh, was that? Oh, because that. Yeah, that was right. That's what that was. Another version of What's Her Bucket.
Yes.
Yeah.
And reading up on some info here, it does look like this birdie, Birdie the duck, actually was made up unique for What If.
Yeah.
So,
Make sure you swing by the universe that has that stuff that I like.
yeah, I'm really curious to see what they do with some of this What If stuff. If they bring it in any way, shape, or form, like I would love to see Cohorty brought into
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
the MCU official.
Yeah, I would
Uh,
love that. I think that's a very interesting.
I'd also like some more Captain Carter. I know we got it in Multiverse of Madness, but
But now
uh,
she's kind of gone.
it could, yes, but there likely are multiple. If the
They were trying to.
multiverse is
They were
infinite,
trying, but that's the thing. They were trying to erase all the versions of Carter. They were trying to erase all the versions of all those characters that.
but they've
had,
already confirmed that she's going to be back for, in some way, shape, or form for. I can't remember if it's Doomsday or the other one, but one of the.
So she's coming
One of the
back.
Avenger films. Now
Nice.
it could be like a flashback, right? Because there's
Yeah.
already talk of Steve Rogers coming back in some way, shape, or form. May not be Cap as we know him. Could be Captain Hydra. Could be something else.
Yeah.
And so she could be there in some way that
Okay.
we're not used to. But
yeah, I can feel it. I'd be down for that too.
yeah,
I like, yeah, and then just interesting to see what kind of goes on. Because I mean, actually, we did kind of get introduced. So we had which beast was that? Was that Kelsey Grammer's beast in the Marvels?
yes, that was the return of Kelsey Grammer.
It's Hank McCoy.
Yeah, which was a nice call, and we also at that point got the.
Did we?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't. I missed that one somehow.
Yes, go back and rewatch
Okay.
that terrible, terrible film known as The Marvels.
I didn't think it was that horrible. It wasn't great.
It is pretty close to as bad as The Eternals.
Eternals is really hard to beat as bad for bad.
Hey, you know what? At least we're going to get some payoff from The Eternals here in the near future in Captain America 4. With Tiamat, and that's the introduction to adamantium in this universe.
Oh, from the what is that? What's the thing's called?
Tiamat, the Eternal.
The thing that was growing out of the earth.
Yeah, the name of the thing inside the earth was Tiamat, and he started to emerge.
Yeah,
emergence.
Yeah.
Yes. So
the thing is made out of whatever that stuff called, ananium.
And I've been drinking
adamantium. Adamantium. Yeah, it's been a long. Yeah, I haven't said that in a long time. That'd be interesting. I'm down. Yeah.
Which is likely how we eventually get our Wolverine.
Yeah. Yay. Yeah. All right. Cool. Sorry I had to drag that out a little bit longer.
Yeah, no, way to tangent.
It's easy to do.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Wrap it up.